We have announcements.
I just finished on presenting.
I was in a meeting with this group. It's working for I will come at noon.
So still many guys out there. Well, most of them left.
Feedback saying that you don't feedback. Stop today because the weather is going to be back to feedback. Next week,
What is we're not getting pizza today?
today we get pizza.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to change it to the hub, but it's not possible.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So let's just start where we left last time. Do you have a piece of paper I gave you? I have one there. Do you need another one? It's not very important. So the list of advice is there, okay, a lot. I think where we are, I think these topics we covered some of them. There are a lot. So let's go to the your personal, professional. Talk about so CV, time management. We were here dealing with people. Okay, so let's talk about this. So how do you maintain the quality in your research? That's a important task. Uh, so how do you maintain your quality? Let's say you want to make a, you want to be a best in your research. What do you have a plan in your mind? Something can you think about? Anything. Okay, I will do a research and then publish my research work in a highly impact factor journal. And that could be a one. Or I will do a research and give a plenary talk in a conference. Maybe that's the quality you have a your how do you set up your bar, okay, so that you will be a best. Do you have a thought?
I was gonna say document your research so well, capture your so well.
Yeah. So the so well, that means you will write a report or your publication so that other people can appreciate your work, right? They can understand your work. They can follow your work, right? That tells you the quality of your work, right? Yes, that's a good example. How would you maintain? So the key word here, the user perspective. So who is going to use your work? Who is going to judge your work? It could be an academic professor or your committee, or if it's a peer-reviewed journal, someone else, someone in around the world, they will look at your work and say, this guy has done such an incredible work. Okay, let's cite it. Okay. So the good example here is user perspective. So that means the way you will improve. Okay. Very much. What do you see? What's telling me? Yes. So the second bullet point, the essence of doing quality work is to consider the perspective of user, right? If you're writing a paper, consider what would make it easier for readers to understand you and learn from you. That's the key point. Whenever it's not just writing a paper, just like a simple email you write to your advisor. Just think about that. Okay, so the user perspective. Let the readers can understand you, follow you. Okay, so that's the way you maintain your quality. One example. What else? When you write or give a talk, ask for honest feedback. Good. I'm presenting today, and we are expecting your feedback, right? And that helps me to improve or change or make it better in next time. So you always do the same thing. Don't afraid of asking for feedback. Okay, that's always okay. That's a good advice. Okay, so how do you maintain it in the user perspective? Let's go to another important thing in a graduate research. Not everyone thinks this is important, but some students I have found the attitude problem in a graduate research. So what is attitude means? Like this cartoon tells you, let's say you got an award. Okay, you were nominated from your department. Sometimes from the department we ask somebody to represent the college. Your name will be nominated, and you get award. And then once you get award, what is your feeling? You will celebrate like this, the first one, or you will say, "How come I got the award this year? I'm not the best one in the department. Somehow these people put my name and I got it. I don't deserve it." You know the two types of feeling? Someone say, whatever it is, it's an award, I got it, I'm nominated, so I deserve it, I should celebrate. Or some people think the other way. You see the difference? What do you call these things? In a literature, the word it's called imposter syndrome. This is new to me. Imposter. So this is imposter. This one. Okay. So that means the work you do, or you get something, you always feel proud of it. Okay. Okay, that's your work, you deserve it, you got it. So it means that you always be enthusiastic about your work. Do you agree? Whatever you're doing, no matter it's a small task or the big award, whatever it is, yeah, try to be always enthusiastic. That helps you a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Some other examples of attitude.
Are you trying to get
A lot of empathy, and there is no task, homework, anything. The good thing is there is no grade, no assignment. You just stop. Okay, so if you have this issue with you, sometimes people do. You know, I didn't have anything outside, so I applied. I got a TA position. That's why I'm here. I'm just satisfying this requirement. Otherwise, I don't have any interest to do research. You know, I'm just spending time here. Some people say like that. Okay. Okay, so if it's a researcher, I think the graduate researcher, you don't take those things. Okay? That means you should be proud of what you have. You got a position. You take this thing proud, very proud way, and then always be enthusiastic. Okay. All right. Okay. I think a lot of advice there you don't need to read, but that's the summary. Okay. Okay. Another principle here in the research to improve your research quality is ready for the failure in a graduate research. This is very common. Everyone, like me, or the people who got a degree, they have gone through this thing. Not once, maybe not twice, maybe several times. Okay? So the failure in a research is very common. What does that failure mean? What do you think? What could be a failure in the research? Example, what do you think the failure? You might have a fail. You might fail in your research study. What that could be? Okay, negative result. So negative result. Things do not work as you were looking for. Okay, that's very common. You expect I put something here, and then the machine will tell you what you were expecting, the output. Okay, so input and output, you were kind of interested in something, but your output is something else. Okay, so those things and then depress you, or oh, I am failed. So that means the expected result. Yeah, that's a good example. What else could be? For a researcher, the result you expect is not there. That's a good example. What's the other possibility you think? Not receiving the grade.
Funding.
Ah, funding. You see, that's a serious problem. Like me, maybe you guys are sick because you have a support from department or university is providing, and you don't care where the money is coming from. but your advisor, it's kind of maybe under pressure. So writing a grant and didn't get the funding, it's a very common, because the success rate these days is 5 to 10, 15%. So for one grant, if 100 people apply, this is the 5%. And then it's statewide, see? So the, the challenge there. So same thing in the research, the failure is, okay, what it says, how good you are going to face failure once, right? But several times, that's a common. But those failure it helps you if you are able to manage this thing in appropriate way, okay? So what's this? Failure is, it's not just a fail, but it try to learn from your failure, okay? For example, the result you were expecting, but you didn't get the one what you were expecting. But what does this tell you? But you will learn something from the failure, okay? So try to understand the failure. What are the flaws there, or what things you can, you could have done better, or is there something your knowledge is not there? You need to improve it. Do you need to take additional classes, or you need to see another advisor, another mentor, or another collaborator, right? There are so many things. So the failure is a common in a graduate research, but don't be discouraged from the failure. Try to learn from the failure. Okay, you write a paper, you submit for the publication, and it's rejected. That's very common. Okay, rejection of your publication basically is common. These days, there are a lot of journals, they accept your work, but depending on the quality and how rigorous the journals are, they may accept or they don't, because they only accept certain percent, let's say 10% of the submission they accept. Remaining 90% is rejected. If you submit in a, what is the best journal? Like a Nature or Science, maybe 5% is the public. Okay, so rejection is a common. So yeah, that's a. Okay, so ready for the failure in the research, okay? If it's not, you will face. What's the next one? Taking advantage of the opportunity. What does that mean? What are the opportunities you get besides your research in doing research in a graduate school? Just like setting a bar to maintain your quality, okay? I think that's one of the example of taking advantage. Just like, let's say you are in, you are a graduate researcher, okay? You have your advisor. So, so being a PhD graduate or master after the PhD, what is your goal? Let's say your goal is at least what do the advisors do? Maybe you want to be just like advisor. So that means what does your advisor do? Your advisors, he or she, what you advising, teaching, doing research, writing a grant, okay, going to conference, or chairing a program in a conference, or some kind of a grant reviewer in the agency. Like that's what typical professions do. So taking advantage and keeping one step ahead means, let's say you were in the PhD, then think about how would you do those things that your advisor does. That's what it means. Okay. So if you are in, if somebody is in high school, after going to the college, the high school kid will learn so many things. But when it is the person is in high school, if he knows what the people do in the college, then he will be better prepared. Just like if it's undergraduate, look at the master and PhD student, what they are doing. Maybe that's your bar there. Okay. So same thing, graduate student. Look at your senior colleagues or professors or postdocs, what they do after graduate, what they do. So if you are aware of those things, then you will always sit, you will take those opportunities. What does that mean? Let's say a professor, for me, I constantly review other people's work. Okay, that's a part of my job, being a reviewer. So I get some review paper, and then if you are good and if you have those things in your mind, whenever I say in the lab meeting, I'll say, I have 10 papers to read this tonight or the overnight, over the weekend. Is anyone interested to review one of the work? Whenever I say this thing, usually those things are not allowed to speak in public, but within a group, lab members, you are comfortable with the student, we talk. And what you should do? You raise your hand. Professor, do you need help? I'm ready to take your job. I will read that paper for you. Do you understand what I mean? Do you take that? That's the taking advantage. Okay? So graduate student researcher, do this. Okay, another scenario. Let's say your advisor. It's a lot of things is related between advisor and you, because that's the way you grow up, you learn in the research. Your advisor is busy for going to DC to meet a funding agency. He had to teach multiple classes here. And he needs somebody to take over his work. Some of you do that. Oh, this behalf of my professor, I'm coming to you. Just like you are doing helping advisor, but you are learning that time. You got the opportunity to teach the class. You are not allowed to teach because in an engineering department you need to have a PhD to do a class, to teach a class, formal class. But it's a substitute, something not announced, but you can go and distribute the professional work. But you will learn how to do it. That's another example. Okay, so what else? Yes, that's the writing and conference talk, organizing a lab meeting, okay, your research meeting. These are all part of the quality of taking advantage. And that's the way you improve your leadership. All right, so that's the first part of the graduate work, okay? How to maintain the quality. Now, second part of the talk is how do you, craft your research? How do you improve those basic skills, okay? What are those things? The very first thing is keeping a record of your work. Okay, I don't know how many of you are doing this. Yeah, so those notes are not here. I didn't print, but it will be in the Blackboard. Do you have access to Blackboard? Can you see this thing? It should be there. Okay? If it's not, I will upload it. Because the last semester it was there. Okay. So I'm not going in the detail like the first section. We'll just talk here. Okay. So very first thing, keeping a notebook. Okay, how do you keep your record? Can you give me your example? Because in the different discipline, different professors' research, they do different. So everyday work, let's say you do something today in the research lab, tomorrow or day after tomorrow, within a month. How do you keep track of this thing? So your notebook, right? Do you write on the notebook, or you just log in a computer and then make a list of things? What do you do? What do you do in the corner? Do you use how do you keep a record of your work? You write on a notebook, stepwise. You know, this is very important. You know, writing the things, what you do, execute in the lab. One is because you deal in a 4 to 5 years, I don't know that long, but 3 or 4 years or 1 or 2 years, you are dealing with so many things. So you can easily forget these things. Okay. So the best way is to make a note or list the thing what you do. You can do in the hard copy in the lab, standard lab notebook, or make a list of things you do in the computer. Okay. Another reason you have to do this thing, being a researcher, authenticity of your work. Okay. Who knows, your work you're doing today will lead to the Nobel Prize in future. That's it, right? So the most powerful document is what did you do on that day and where. That is the proof. You are the person starting the work. Okay? So that's why in most of the laboratory, there is a standard notebook policy. We have a standard notebook. It always comes with the carbon copy. You write on the top, and there is another copy at the back side. Okay, and then you show your record to your advisor, whoever the in charge of the laboratory, and get signed it and keep it. Okay, and that document is the most powerful thing. You're not allowed to take with you once you are graduate. This is the property of A&T, and it should remain here. Okay, but you can make a copy and make a note. You can take with you, but that document should be here. Okay? So I don't know this is a common in every department, but that's the practice. Okay, how do you keep a record? Okay? So for your own record, for university, and for the security of things, okay, it needs to be documented. That's the don't use just a piece of paper today and trash it. Make a habit of keep one notebook for your research. Okay, that's important. Okay, so the reading, that's another important thing, right? How do you craft your research? How do you read? What are the things you read? Researcher, research paper, right? Research paper. Okay, so reading a research paper is, there is no uniform rule. What is important in reading is you have to read as much as you can, okay? Because reading in a graduate research is, by reading, you need to extract the thing from the reading, right? Next year, you're getting a good paper, not reading everything, but which is related with your research area. And reading is, at the beginning, you need to find a good paper. And how do you say this is a good paper or a bad paper? You will go to your advice. Okay. So in your research meeting, my advice is, if you are first semester, try to get the list of papers, even though they say, oh, here's a keyword. You just type in the Google and read the paper. Whatever paper you get in the Google, just Google Scholar, read it. That's the big. Okay. Even though the advisors say this thing, at least get what is the best paper. Maybe advisors own written paper. That's maybe the good start. So finding a good paper is very important. And then you should be able to dissect the paper. You know, you dive further, and then able to extract the thing from the paper. That's where you increase. And once you are good, then you will realize how to read the paper. By reading a paper means what part of the paper is you are interested. You don't need to read all the paper throughout from first page to end, right? When you are good, you will know the important section where it is, and you go just there. So easy. The next time. Sometimes you just read the abstract, you will know what's the possible thing in the remaining text. You don't need. So at the beginning, you have to read a lot, and then later on, it will be more specific things. Listening. What is the listening means here? Give me one example of listening. That way you can improve the research.
Research symposium.
Symposium. Okay. What else? Class? Yeah, class too. Listening. Just like you were listening to me. What else? The most common thing. Every Friday, department sends you email. Somebody says, oh, you have to attend this. This is required. It's a non-credit, but you have to attend. What are those? Seminar. See the seminar thing? Okay, so listening, especially those seminars, it's a required for graduate students. And in a department, some departments do good job selecting the speakers. Okay, they know their speakers, their background, and it's going to benefit their students. If they are planning those speakers, don't miss any. If it's not, and I should tell you carefully, because listening is very important at the beginning, but later on, plan this listening carefully. You don't want to listen to everything. At least, let's say you were let's say mechanical engineering student. The possible top you will go is most of the mechanical engineering discipline, and then maybe what's the other? Maybe material science could be. What's the other? Something within your domain, it benefits you. So what that means is the listening, before you go to the talk, attend the talk, do your homework about the speaker. Okay? Speaker. What is the background? What is the possible thing that the speaker is going to talk? So something you plan and attend. Okay? Listen. So at the beginning, attend as many as you can, but later on, by the second year or so, filter those. Attend those things. Even the conference, okay? Go carefully, this thing. All right. What's the other advice? Talking, giving a talk. So presentation, I think the one good example in talking is giving a talk about your research, okay? So what is your philosophy in a talking or presenting a seminar? Anybody has ideas? How do you make your talking interest to everyone? So the talking part is, what did they say? It is talk to inform your audience, not to impress your audience. Okay, what's that mean? you want to tell the information so that they will be benefited. Okay. Don't talk just to show them, well, I'm smart, I'm a genius person, I have so many things, I can speak loud. So that mentality, okay, the talking, you have your own research, you are the best person doing this research, and rest of the people here, they don't know anything. Just assume that way, okay? That means you are kind of informing them, okay, not impressing them. Once you inform, they will impress, they will appreciate it later, okay? So that's what the talking thing involves, okay? Talking just for info, to inform other people, not impress. Okay, okay. So writing, it's a big deal, the writing thing in graduate research, right? And I don't know. My suggestion is go with the simple thing at the beginning, few paragraphs, just are simple, like writing about your, what is called, experimental method, protocol. You know, that's easy, right? What you do in the lab, just write what you are doing. Make a story, paragraph. So what that means is writing start from a very basic, simple thing, and then it will continuously grow up later. So what that means is that you don't plan to write a research paper in your first sitting. What does that mean? Is you are doing a research and you think maybe I spend 2 weeks and I can write a research paper. So do not plan to write a research paper in one sitting, okay? So writing skill improves gradually. It's like a 3-4 years time. Maybe if you are able to write one report in your semester, that report over time, what happens, you will experience, you will get better experience. Second semester, it will be improved, okay? So the writing skill, if you make a habit to write, it will improve over time. It's not overnight. This is not a one day. That's the way personally I learn. Okay. I'm a non-English speaking person. I learned very little English in my school. So how did I write the almost 100 papers I have? It's improved gradually. Okay? So that's my advice. And yeah. So if it's other 2 bullet points here, programming, mathematical analysis, especially for the engineering student, I think the computer science people, maybe that's what their tools is, programming. Even though you don't have any other things, at least you are good in the writing some course, you can maintain your research, right? This is like a, besides your own research, how would you improve your research? In a computer science, maybe that's the basic thing. And the mathematical analysis, that's very important for the engineering students, right? Take advanced math, statistics, those classes. Okay. Okay, the last one is the background. How do you improve the background knowledge? How do you gather the background knowledge? By taking classes, right? What do you need for your research? Those background, where do you get from? By reading a paper or taking classes, right? So who helps you this thing? Reading the more related paper you will get from advisor, but taking classes is also very important. That's why when you select the classes, don't go by just your own list. Okay? Consult your advisor. Taking classes. Because those classes will help in your research. That's what you want to do, right? Not just to take easy grade. Oh, I can pass this class easily, I should go there. We do sometimes. But keep at least couple courses open to discuss with your advisor before you take. Okay, that's That's my suggestion. This material will be there. Okay. Okay, so last section is art of research. That's the hardest part, right? So where it's identifying problem, formulating problem, thinking about the problem. I think those are the things that we also uh, mentioned in the previous talk. Maybe you will learn more about what could be the research topic that falls here, okay, under this topic. Okay, so thinking about a problem. The third bullet point. How many of you here, just tell me, okay, your honest opinion. Friday at 6 p.m., how many of you ask your friend or colleague, anybody, say, oh, this is the research I did today. Or this research, this is my research. I mean, they're talking about the research on Friday, 6 p.m. Once you're done college, going home. How many of you have done this? There is the reason I'm asking you. Friday in the evening. Do you ever thought about your research at Friday evening night? That's what the people think. It's a weekend, and I need to focus on something else because research is just in the university. It doesn't need to come with me at home. People think that way. Do you think this is a good habit or the bad? Okay, so the reason I asked Friday evening somebody thinks about the research does not mean how serious you are about your research. Okay, that's what it means. So thinking about a problem means like graduate researchers, it is your 24-hour thing. Okay? Even though you're doing something else, but keep in mind that's your work, that's your research. So that means your problem, your research work, make it concrete. It will develop over time, but always keep in mind, okay, that's my work, that's my work, that's my work. I have to finish it. Even though do other things. What that means is the priority. Okay? The graduate research is priority. So that's what it means. Okay? I think advisor and the thesis part is very important. The advisor things. Maybe in a separate class we'll talk more. But what I would say is choosing an advisor is there are two types of advisor. What are the two types of advisor? It's a hands-on advisor or a hands-off advisor. Which advisor do you prefer? Hands-on and hands-off. What is hands-on means? Hands-on means every Monday, the advisor calls you in the office, and then you talk, oh, you know, you started here, and where you are. This is it, you're done. You know, every step go with the advisor. So that means the advisor tells you, and then you go to the lab and execute it. Hands-on. Right. The other type of advisor, oh, I gave you this area, so figure it out yourself, and let's meet in next week. You update your problem. Hands-on. Okay. I can't say it's good or bad, but the two types. Where you guys are? Hands-on, hands-on. Do you like hands-on? He says both. Okay. I think you need hands-on at the beginning. maybe 1 semester, 2 semesters. But prepare yourself. You want to be a hands-on. That rewards you. So you need a both. So at the beginning you need hands-on, and the later on you always prepare. You need to be hands-on. Okay, so I think the thesis that you will also talk. So I will maybe move to another one.
When lunch comes in,
Uh,
if there's no lunch, then they're gonna be better off with you. It's coming
at 12.
at 12.
Yeah.
You don't have time or?
No, it's not. So, I don't know. You need to record.
You don't mind? So if you want to use the restroom that you can use now, so let's do this the walking notes. So it's not about the actor, so we're gonna have questions. So take you some and while you are eating, then you can and after we have those two, so we do okay one. So I have to finish your first dish, then you come back and so take all of them. So I will try to, on the first question is why is and why you think Done. Highway, done. Ready? Have a seat. So because you cross to this podium, then balance go this way. First and second, third, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6. Okay? Go first. Okay, while they're thinking, I have a group 4, 4, and 4, and the list comes together. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you go back. And the 4 you let's have a discussion quick. And number 1. 4 you. 4 you want to have a group. And you guys together. And I think it's together. We have a good group. And while eating is lunch, that was. I know you really want to use the platform and the Facebook, but put in your platform in your pocket because it's not that long, it's less than 1 hour, about 30 minutes. We have about 30 minutes. So just set aside your cell phone or laptop and let's have this discussion on the first one. The last week we said is what is the research, then what is the 2 criteria. My point was very simple, so I on our presentation, but my idea is what is the research? You are doing the research, but what is the research? The first, it should be new, and the second, it should be unique. So I think some of you already have a research topic or what some of you don't have yet, or something in your mind that if you think it's new, then why you think it's new, and if it's significant, then why you think it's significant, and we will share the discussion while we're talking together. The slide will be posted on platform. You don't have to take a picture. I take a picture of me. Okay. Okay, second. So if you do this 6 speed, then you're gonna take more than 1 hour. So please speed up. Quickly, so get what you want. Have you seen the PhD presentation before? Have you seen? Well done. How many of you have seen this real certificate? Only 4 of you, 5 of you. I mean, how many of you have seen the real certificate? Yes. You have you seen certificate? Yes. Okay. So I brought one of the samples that is from the my PhD system about 3 years ago that you can take a look at. And good question. Do you think there's a page limit in your dissertation or not? Like, can you have the dissertation like this big? Yeah. And do you think there's a minimum pages for your dissertation or not? Yeah. No. Who said yes? How many? No, I remember last year something like that. No, there's no minimum page. So you can do even the 1 page. I told you that I saw this presentation. That is 1 page in the Funan University. What is the length is very short, but the content is very brilliant and long, and the ticket is less than. I'm serious. There is no page limit at all. Okay? If you see these all the list of these presentations in the library, some guide is very thick and very thin, it doesn't matter at all. The content is better. So you can see how it's is, and you can see what is the table of content, and what is the topic over here, and what does it look like. You can report. And later you can see the name. Food is good, like that. Let's have a discussion. Please. And those, please put your cell phone in the book bag. And this is another book. This is a book by me. I wrote this book. And after so when I present, somebody from the editor, publication, invited me. A few days ago. And because we are very wide, if I ask and please share your thoughts with a hand up. Okay. And first, what is the research topic and why is it human? So anybody, the group can pick up. You finish your question on that. You're doing that, yeah. You have the You done? You done with discussion? This group? I put this your cell phone in the book in your pocket, but somebody is talking over the phone. Thank you. I'm sure that you're gonna be done quick. You just have 30 minutes. Let's start and more time. More time. You, one more minute. Only the more time to finish your discussion group. You need more time. You just came in. You just came in for us. Thank you. So everybody else, more time. Finish. So let's just finish your discussion now, and it's a pause. And because, can I get your attention? Because they are not happy, so they didn't get food yet. So you got food, so you're happy. So anybody can share your thoughts first. Who can do this? Can you stand up? And please listen to this. And they just finished.
Okay, so my research topic is on optimal practices in traffic routing problem using considering the preference of the direct preference of the traffic.
Can you say that again? Can you,
Optimal practices.
Did you hear that? I'm sorry,
Okay, so
last week somebody said you have a mic. You have a mic. So can you speak up?
okay, so my research topic is looking at optimal path stage in transit user routing problem, considering the preference, the risk preference of the traveler. So the reason why this topic is new and significant is okay. So we are looking at how travelers select strategies for whenever they are moving from point A to point B, and they want to consider their preference to risk. So once you find a traveler, you look at the traveler's preference to uncertainty, and then based on those risk preference, you select strategies that will suit the traveler. So that's what mine is.
Okay. First, how do you confirm that your research is new?
So by doing an extensive literature review to look at the past work that has been done in terms of transit user routing problems. So there are a lot of problems that have looked at reliability of path to the transit network. But in terms of considering the risk preference of the traveler to uncertainties in the network, none has been done. So
okay, thank you. Any questions for this? I think it's really good. And how many years do you spend here at AFT?
So this is my second year.
Second year? Yes. Good. Thank you. And anybody in the third group? Thank you. Please stand up. Just check. You are not in this area. You may not be in the different area. Same area or different area. But just to see what is new and what is okay? Can you speak up for everybody?
So it's my second semester.
Second semester?
Yeah.
PhD?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So I don't have any research area here. So I cannot speak about my research area.
So you don't have anything in your mind?
Yeah.
Do you or you not?
Yeah, I'm working on, what's doing something on AI.
AI?
Yeah. But I don't have, specific research area.
Okay. Thank you. Any first group? Oh, part of that. I'll try to not see Synthetic modeling of biological systems. Bacteria growth. Okay, I think this research topic is very familiar. So why do you think your research topic is new? Can you stand up? Why do you think your research? Because research should be new. You don't repeat what other guys already done. So why?
It's not. It's just I'm giving general area. We're not really expanding on it because with the area that is new that we're adding to it is space. So a lot of it grow in a vacuum area of space.
Okay.
So I see we're gonna know.
Okay, thank you. And bacteria is very important. Not very dangerous, but I think you don't have to worry about this significance of the research. And anybody from this? You?
So my research is collaborative control between human and robot. In this research, I'm related to modeling the human and robot performance. How can they collaboratively work together to enhance the system performance? My recent objective is to optimize the system.
Okay, so why your research is you think is new?
Because that the collaboration happens between two robots, it is possible to identify how the performance would be and what would be the prediction of the next step. But once the images are in the group, then it will be difficult to find out that what would be next step, because the human factors are also play an important role to justify that next step. That's why I think that it's difficult and also challenging.
Yeah. But have you done the literature survey? Using what? What website?
Yes, actually, I have downloaded several papers from ICDS group, and also some research, and also we take over weekly meeting with our speakers.
You can begin. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you. So many guys are worried about the robot. When you have a robot in the factory line, then you're gonna replace this human job. Many humans will lost their job. What's still going on because of this market. You know this new RFID technology. If you have a card, then you put this a lot of products in your cart, and the product has RFID. So you don't have to check out with this counter. Then just pass through this wall, then automatically the total numbers will be calculated and printed. So that is very convenient. But the other part is the human job. So one of the solutions is instead of that, and some guys will work on is the development of the technologies, and we will improve this human and machine interaction, not just by replacing this existing human job and make a collaboration job, to make a better performance and a better system. So I think there is a can you share your thoughts if you have? Everybody is around. So Jessica, I think you've been at the ANT for many years. How many years? Can you stand up for me? Thank you.
I got to ANT summer of 2014 in undergrad. I just graduated last semester with my bachelor's.
Yes.
And this is my second semester.
The bachelor or PhD? Who's your wife?
Dr. Sekar.
At the same time? I was with Dr. Sekar all day long yesterday, and I went to home. Okay, and what is your research topic?
Right now, I'm continuing what I did in undergrad, so I did research on magnesium alloys and its properties and metal manufacturing for other PCBs. So, coming up with different alloys with different compositions.
So how can you make sure that your research is new? Because alloy and magnesium is not new, so it's done by everywhere in US or Europe, Asia, Africa. Then how can you make sure that your research is new in the world?
Well, depending on what your alloy is, depending on how your the different processes you use, polishing, etching, what etching you use to get certain properties, the heat treatment, rolling, any type of manufacturing process that can be either made more efficient or made easier or get better results, depending on what you have.
Then if your research is successful, then how can I get benefit from your research? And what is a good for these people? In other words, why your research is
Well, I was looking for new means of material applications, depending on like the durability, different combinations of different types of properties and materials. They're not necessarily, for example, in orthopedics, have materials that are really good for structural support, but they're not necessarily good for the human body. So you have to figure out ways to make the concentration so that it's not toxic for humans. And also will alleviate things like post-surgery requirements. So you have a material that degrades over time rather than something that has to be removed. You won't have to do that post-surgery if you have that.
Thank you, Jessica. If you put this have you heard about this niche replacement with metal or heat replacement? So the problem is, if you put this the metal in Europe, then it is a good replacement, but you cannot completely replace your bone. Bone is better than metal. So the problem is put some magnesium here, then to make this bone grow naturally. So what happens to magnesium you put there? It disappears naturally. This is good idea. You agree? Part of the research is significant. Agree? Disagree? One last. Okay, can you help me? Is the last topic and what is the reason to
I'm working on simulation of powders to AM manufacturing. Like this manufacturing, most times the heat equivalent is not always as strong as it should be. And part of working on so now I'm trying to work empirically out to see what our science can do to because definitely I might need to do experiments to get the best packaging to meet power. So now my job is to find out empirically what different types of powder to mix in what quantity. And I set them out to do the simulation simulation result.
And so you did a little survey, I did, other than right? Have you done the little survey? Make sure that your research is new.
Yes, I did some. Yes, people are working on similar stuff.
Okay, and probably you're working with some DOE lab, right? And working with some others, a good collaborator, the National DOE lab, and they have brand new knowledge. That means it's not being published yet, because some of these knowledges cannot be shared through this journal. Especially in security, where national is a very important knowledge. Then by collaborating with the national lab, then you can get brand new knowledge and to make sure that it is significant and there's another way. Not only from this research survey, just collaborating with some DOE, Department of Energy, or DOD, Department of Defense, or in some other companies. DOT, Department of Transportation, they have the new need, new demands, and nobody has solved yet, then can be the new idea. Okay? And how many of you didn't get the lunch? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 guys. So I will make sure that we will make up today or later. Okay? We are not going away. I'm not a guy. I just follow the exam. There's no way to make up for your money. Okay? We'll be on there. It's not my fault. Maybe somebody who ordered this made a mistake, or this guy is I think it's good way. Or the next time you can start first and make them hungry. Anyway, I find a way to make up. Okay? So now we discussed is your research should be new and novel. So you are here, the school. Discuss this. We saw this. And today's topic is, our topic is advisor. Who has a dissertation? Dissertation? You will just one minute, how you back to you. And if you have seen this discussion, who is the author? Who is the author? PhD candidate. He did research with me, Stephen Armour. But the only author is the PhD candidate. I'm not the author of this. Right? So I cannot write any sentence on this dissertation. If I do that, then I can be author. But I'm not the author. That means I have not written any sentence on this. So why do you need an advisor? First of all, I put in the short clip advisor and supervisor. If you are familiar with some European system or the UK, they call the PhD supervisor. But here in the US, the PhD advisor is more the popular. What is the difference between the advisor and the supervisor? There is no answer. Was any thought? Maybe I'm your advisor or supervisor. Why? I'm not your supervisor.
What we want to do, I mean, like, what exactly we can choose from you, like, your advisors, or we can take from yours. But if it's a supervisor, we give our own reason, but he just supervises like what to do.
That's correct. I think it is a reasonable thought. Any other? Yes. You working with Ali Karamudini? Is your advisor or supervisor?
My advisor.
I will put Ali to make sure that you are. You sure? Can you speak up because otherwise I'm not here.
Yes, sir. Usually in an academic institution, sir, the relation between me and my super person is the advisor. But in a company, the relation between me and my boss is supervisor. Because the advisor advises me to guide me, and supervisor supervises me. That usually in company, supervisors mention that what I have to do and what I don't have to do. Because every step he or she guides appropriately. But advisor suggests me, then it's my choice that whether I will go in this way or not. If I don't want to go, then I will show him the reasons and there will be a discussion. But supervisor is some type of autonomy and you have to do this.
Right. Yeah, I think the university of this school, then I think it is have you heard what he's saying? You are one. So if it's the author of the presentation is me, then I'm supervisor and the student is the staff while he's a member. If you are the sole author of this presentation, then you are the leader and the faculty is the factor, right? I'm here to help you, so you are the leader. That is why we call this advisor. Then do you think you can switch your advisor in the middle of your program? Okay. Kevin, can you switch your advisor? No, I'm sorry to hear you. Yes or no? Did you know that you can switch your advisor? Switch your advisor? Or can you change your topic in the middle of this? So why the problem? First of all, in all circumstances, you want to change your advisor. So what? And for one reason. First of all, I have seen when I was a PhD student, advisor, the funding. They like this topic, but he needs money. So switch the advisor and was successful, and now it's a good job. It's not already successful, switching the advisor. Because sometimes changing the advisor, you have to start over. Or the new advisor may be worse than the previous advisor. In terms of the finance. Nobody knows. Are you with me? And have you seen, can you share your case or your friend's case or something you heard to switch advisor in the middle of this program? Any of you? Nobody, you have not seen? Yes, can you share your?
It's my friend. And the topic that her advisor, it's hard for her to work on that topic. So she discussed with her advisor, but the advisor stick with the topic. So she came prepared to switch to another advisor.
Topic was too hard, you mean?
Yeah, it's hard for her.
Yeah, I think there's a good reason. Hard means absolutely hard, well, because of different background. I'm a mechanical engineer, but I don't know about this like biology. So, but some faculty in the mechanical engineering do some biology research. So if I don't have background, it's going to be very hard for me. Of course, I can study on it, but it can take more time. I don't want to spend more than 4 years. I don't want to spend here at AMP 6 or 8 years. But then you can switch it. But that is a good, I think that's a good point. And any other? What do you call your colleagues or friends? Nobody?
Yes, in my master's program, my advisor is with the university. At that time, I had to.
Yeah. So, when with the advisor or the state university?
I stayed in the university, but my advisor is.
You didn't follow him. Yeah, he also has to have the pre-study. So I will tell you some cases I know. I was in Michigan and one faculty, 10 years. Sometimes the move from here and there because many reasons. But one faculty is to move from the Michigan to Georgia Tech. You know why? Can you guess why is the reason to move from this Michigan to Georgia Tech? Yes, weather. So my friend was a student of the faculty and got shocked because of the weather. Then he moved to the Georgia Tech way to the faculty. Then in your presentation was the degree. Then my students get a degree from Michigan or Georgia Tech. Is my point? My students moved with the faculty to Michigan to Georgia Tech. Then gonna get his PhD from Michigan or PhD from Georgia Tech. Yes or no? Before something, if you move before something, then you can get this new Georgia Tech degree. If you move after this, then you can get this Michigan degree. What do you think is something? So what is the point? Before what? That qualifies. Filling, yeah, filling the distance. That is the rule. If you move before, then the useful degree. After, then that is the rule. Not required rule for history. From where? Yeah, from so rule. Okay, so you have to. Aaron, are you really careful?
Oh, no, I was looking up this delivery. They said me.
Oh, what is really? Okay, let's explain this again. For PhDs, you start your PhD program, then you have to take a courses, right? How many credits? How many credits you have to take? 60. 62. Then, what there is a course requirement. The second requirement is a test qualifying exam. You test. I didn't ask you. And after passing the qualifying is a topic for this ME because mechanical engineering PhD, even if you have a different topic, and that is your mechanical engineering PhD. But if you are in mechanical engineering, that means you have to be knowledgeable about these 4 subjects. If you are in WE, how many do you in WE? What subject do you have in the qualifying exam? Yeah. For the logic and yeah. So in this way, different department has some 4 subjects. That is the second. And the third is a preliminary exam. Preliminary exam is a suggestion of your research. So in front of the company for the first time, you are declaring that you will do research in this topic. So if the committee is okay, then you can continue. If the committee is not okay, then you have to switch or okay. Then is there any reason for committees not to say yes to the specific topic? The candidate want to? Why? Why this committee can say no to the topic? What do you think? I have seen a lot of guys fail in preliminary exam. It's not unusual. Why? For any opinion? Any guess? There is no answer. There is no formal answer to my question. I'm sharing my opinion and my experience I have so far. Any guess? Because
I mean, they don't have anything new. They maybe just from the old topics or something like that.
yeah, there is a correct reason. If I'm a PhD student, I have to address this is new. If you don't say that, then the company will not do the study for you and eventually the new one. You have to show this study result and make sure and also the significant criteria. And maybe it's too enthusiastic. That means you have to finish with your research with given year. But either too broad or too enthusiastic, then for 10 years, 20 years, it's very realistic. Okay? There's another reason. So there's a preliminary exam. So before preliminary exam, you will get it over. And after that, before the preliminary exam was new. And after, then okay? That was I think so I will give you this one to think about this. And you don't have to do this now, okay? So I will give you this question for you and you can think about it. And you can come to my office and have a discussion. And that is about your advisor search and motivation. And who has my presentation? Where is the presentation? Where is the book? You know how to use it. You are very young at this point. You know how to use it. Survey. And they have to do the survey now, right now. Yeah, will you please?
Just take 30 minutes to finish that survey. You did very good last time, a very valuable survey. So kindly finish it now, it won't take much time before you leave, okay? Really appreciate that.
Yes.
Send me the two slides. Post.
And US is signed from the NARAM, US link to NARAM.
No, these two are split.
I will send you.
Please select the survey before you.
Yeah, please fill in your survey for your name. Thank you.
before the snow comes,
Yeah, that's right.
preferably.